We'll now recognize the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Posey, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you, Mr. Chairman.
Good to see you, sir.
In spite of the SEC Inspector General and GAO recommendations, SEC continues to assert that as an independent agency, the Commission is not required to do the same kind of regulatory analysis and cost-benefit analysis as other agencies. Why is the agency so defiant about the suggestion to be accountable as other agencies are?
Well, actually, sir, we follow the mandate of Congress. In 1996, Congress put in our statute that we had to do economic analysis. And so we follow that. And then after a number of court cases in the early 20 years ago or so, we updated our guidance to ensure that we followed Congress's mandate. So we do economic analysis, again, sometimes measuring in a couple hundred pages in every one of our releases. We get feedback from the public, and then we adjust, we modify.
So the Inspector General's wrong? You don't need to do any further analysis?
Well, in fact, we do need to do analysis because Congress mandated it. It's called, we have to analyze the efficiency, the competition, and the effects on capital formation. And in doing so, we lay out an economic baseline, and then we have to look at alternatives to the proposal, reasonable alternatives, and we look at cost and benefits. And so we do all of that.
And any rules are in conformance with the Administrative Procedures Act?
Yes, we do that in compliance with the Administrative Procedures Act, but also Congress added these other provisions in 1996. And as I say, after a number of court interpretations of that in 2005 and so forth, we updated how we did this. And we follow guidance that's been in place since 2012. So I think I'm the fourth chair that, we're following the similar guidance for 11 years now.
So does the Commission assess and analyze cumulative economic impacts of the rules that it makes and the interrelationship with other agencies?
We analyze in each one a baseline, as I mentioned. So if, for instance, there was an interaction and we finalize a rule, then we necessarily update the baseline for the next consideration for the world as it exists at that point in time.
All right. In your climate disclosure rule, are you requiring that firms pursuing ESG-directed investments also disclose the risks they face from favorable regulations not materializing or climate subsidies drying up or slowing down?
The proposal is really to capture the risks that investors want to understand. The proposal was about both the opportunities and the risks, but I think you did use this word. It's about materiality. We're not a climate regulator. We're really disclosure-based regulator, and thousands of investors, more than thousands, but representing tens of trillions of dollars of assets today are making investment decisions. And I'll share a statistic with you. Of the Russell 1000, the top 1,000 companies in the U.S., 81% currently make climate risk disclosures. 57% disclose their greenhouse gas Scope 1 and Scope 2. And so what we're trying to do is just try to bring some comparability to that, in a sense, for investors, but also to avoid some greenwashing, frankly. So bring some comparability to that which is already happening.
Based on your strategic planning, which of your proposed rules is most vulnerable to the major questions doctrine set down in West Virginia versus EPA?
We really do everything we can to stay within the laws as Congress has passed it and how courts interpret them. We're familiar with the case, the Supreme Court case. It's the law of the land that you mentioned. And we take a very close look at that to ensure that when we finalize rules, it's within the laws and how the courts interpret it.
Are you trying to resolve any of those major questions at this time?
Well, I would broaden it out, sir. It's like any time the Supreme Court speaks to our, broadly, the administrative state's authorities, we take a look at that, and we take a look at every comment we receive from the public to stay within our authorities.
Gentleman's time's expired.
Thank you.